Katy Perry didn't just fumble her comeback. She torched her own legacy with a series of choices so catastrophically out of touch, it's like she's actively trying to erase her own stardom. Once hailed as the queen of pop with chart-dominating singles and stadiums full of screaming fans, Katy has devolved into a walking spectacle of cringe. A one-woman disaster show built on gimmicks, hypocrisy, and increasingly embarrassing stunts. From fake feminism to failed albums, from tone-deaf space missions to empty arena tours, every step she takes only pushes her deeper into irrelevance. And now, after 9 years, even Orlando Bloom, her last tether to normalcy, has had enough. Their relationship collapsed in real time, mirroring the total implosion of a career that should have been iconic. There was a time when Katy Perry mattered. Her voice was unavoidable. On the radio, in commercials, on every TV award show. You couldn't walk into a store without hearing one of her bubblegum pop anthems blaring through the speakers. Songs like Teenage Dream, California Girls, and Firework didn't just top the charts, they defined an era. She sprinted across stages, wore outlandish outfits, and dominated the airwaves with hits that were shamelessly catchy and carefully manufactured. She wasn't just popular, she was omnipresent. But what once made her magnetic has now made her unbearable. Today, she's not a chart-topping artist, she's internet meme fodder. A living punchline. The kind of celebrity who's so desperate to stay relevant, she mistakes performance art for empowerment and billionaires' pet projects for activism. Katy's downfall didn't happen overnight. It was a long, slow descent littered with red flags. Her most recent album, 143, was supposed to be a triumphant return. Instead, it bombed spectacularly, ignored by critics, fans, and the charts alike. Her comeback single, Woman's World, was pitched as a feminist anthem but landed like a bad infomercial. Critics called it hollow, robotic, and out of touch. And they were right. The lyrics read like AI-generated cliches. The production was dated, and the vibe screamed, trying too hard. Worse, she teamed up, again, with Dr. Luke, the disgraced producer accused of assault by Kesha, despite years of public backlash and fan outrage. For someone who's built her brand on female empowerment, reuniting with a man accused of exploiting women isn't just tone-deaf. It's a complete betrayal of everything she pretended to stand for. This isn't new behavior for Katy. From the beginning, her brand was built on contradictions. Raised in a strict Pentecostal household, she started out as a gospel singer. But when that path didn't take off, she pivoted hard, shedding her values and reinventing herself as a provocative pop star. Her breakout hit I Kissed a Girl was a massive success, but also a giant middle finger to the religious foundation she came from. She courted controversy, cashed in on shock value, and played the game to perfection. For a while, it worked. She was the girl who could do no wrong. But the cracks in her persona were always there. As long as the music slapped and the visuals sparkled, no one paid much attention. But now, with no hits to hide behind, the contradictions are blinding. Katy's attempts to stay in the spotlight have only made things worse. Her Lifetime's tour was a bizarre spectacle that felt more like cruise ship karaoke than a global pop production. Fans filmed her awkward running routines, incoherent sci-fi themes, and baffling toilet-themed props. Whole arenas sat half-empty as she pranced around on stage, looking lost, desperate, and disconnected. At one point, she joked to fans in cheap seats that they weren't close enough to see her breasts, an attempt at humor that landed like a rock. When you're relying on crude jokes to distract from a lack of genuine talent or creativity, you know the ship is sinking. And then came the space stunt. Katy joined Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin mission in 2024, hoping to rebrand herself as some kind of spacefaring feminist icon. She posted poetic monologues about surrendering to the unknown, billed the trip as an empowering leap for women, and tried to pass off 11 minutes of weightlessness with billionaires as a cultural milestone. But the internet didn't buy it. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Critics called it elitist, tone-deaf, and embarrassing. Memes exploded across social media. The only thing Katy Perry launched into orbit was her own credibility. Her own fiancé, Orlando Bloom, couldn't even fake support. He reportedly warned her repeatedly that the space stunt looked ridiculous, that the album was uninspired, and that the tour was a mess. But she didn't listen. And when it all crashed and burned, she had the audacity to blame the internet for damaging her mental health, instead of taking accountability for her own decisions. Orlando, who had stood by her through the Dr. Luke scandal and other PR disasters, finally walked. The final straw wasn't just the space stunt. It was watching Katy use their relationship as a marketing ploy to boost her failing album. She paraded him around like a prop, tried to manufacture public interest in their romance, and even tried to use their connection to gain clout around Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's upcoming wedding. But Orlando wasn't playing along anymore. He saw through the desperation and pulled the plug. And then there was American Idol. In 2018, Katy sparked outrage when she kissed a 19-year-old contestant on the lips without consent during a live audition. The contestant, Benjamin Glaze, had never kissed anyone before and had clearly said so. What should have been a respectful moment was hijacked for a cheap shock gag. If the roles were reversed, if a male judge kissed a young female contestant, it would have ended careers. But because it was Katy, the incident was brushed off as quirky and forgotten. Except it wasn't forgotten. Not by the public, not by her critics, and definitely not by the people who once looked up to her as a role model. It wasn't the first time she'd crossed the line either. A resurfaced clip showed her groping 18-year-old Justin Bieber on stage years earlier, another incident fans would never tolerate from a male celebrity. The hypocrisy is staggering. Katy Perry has spent over a decade pushing an image of empowerment, boundaries, and progressive values. But time and time again, her actions show the opposite. She's a master of slogans, but completely lacks the self-awareness or integrity to live by them. And now, it's all come full circle. Her latest projects have bombed. Her fan base has turned on her. Her relationship is over, and the industry has moved on without her. Today's pop landscape is dominated by artists like Dua Lipa, Olivia Rodrigo, and Sabrina Carpenter, women who are crafting their own voices, building fan bases with authenticity, and creating music that actually resonates. Meanwhile, Katy is stuck chasing trends, repackaging old ideas, and spiraling into irrelevance one viral fail at a time. Her legacy? A mess. Her image? Shattered. Katy Perry didn't just fall off. She engineered her own collapse with staggering precision. Every fake feminist anthem, every PR gimmick, every clout-chasing stunt, and every hypocritical decision chipped away at the empire she built. She didn't get canceled, she self-destructed. And now, even the fans who once screamed firework are done singing along. Because at the end of the day, you can't fake authenticity forever. You can't shout empowerment while hiding behind abusers. You can't demand respect while performing next to giant toilets. And you definitely can't launch yourself into space expecting the world to forget the mess you left behind. Katy Perry's career isn't in trouble. It's over. Not because of critics or haters or the industry, but because she made it that way. One bad decision at a time. So yeah, this wasn't a tragic fall from grace. This was a slow, painful, completely self-inflicted meltdown. And watching it unfold? Honestly, it's been more entertaining than any song she's put out in the last decade.